So there's a couple different like basic ways you can go about getting your best in slot PvP gear. The first option is to buy the corporal armor set because it is fairly cheap. I'm not taking this route because it's also not that good. And as you see here, in totality, you know, you're looking at almost the equivalent amount of honor as one of these pieces. So I wouldn't really recommend doing that unless you're strapped for cash. If you are strapped for cash and you don't have a ton of gold, it might be worth it because you're going to be doing battlegrounds for a long time if you're trying to get this arena set for honor. The other way to do it is to just thug it out, right, so to speak. So you would go in just like this. You see this gear I'm wearing? You can totally just thug it out, not waste any honor, not buy any gear. You can just walk into BGs like this. Your teammates are probably going to hate you, and you're probably going to hate yourself by the time you're done getting all of your honor because you are going to be getting obliterated every single time you fight just about anybody. So what I would like to recommend you guys do is head on over to the auction house. And before you're like, no, I don't want to spend my gold. Look, man, there are options for everybody, whether you have a high price point or a low price point. The main reason we're coming here is because we just want PvP power and we just want some resilience. Which, as you can see, as long as you buy Blood Forged armor, it comes with PvP power and it comes with resilience. So maybe you're a rich guy and you buy Blood Forged, Light Forged. Oh my god, that's a mouthful. Blood Forged, Light Forged helm, right? This is pretty good for Ret Paladins, correct? Maybe, you know, maybe you buy that. Or maybe your price point's a little bit lower, so you come up here and you buy the Gerbashi helm. It really genuinely doesn't matter. You just need PvP power and resilience. And what you'll see here is this is normal Blood Forged on a lower item level piece of gear. And it gives you 13 resil, 42 PvP power. If we look at this other helmet, the one I just bought, it also has 13 resil and 42 PvP power. That's why I said the price point doesn't really matter. You could buy a 1,000 gold helm, you could buy a 10 gold helm. It's going to give you the same PvP stats, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to shell out a little extra money because, you know, I want to do good. I want to have fun when I play PvP. I actually like doing it. So I'm going to shell out a little more gold just so I can have a little more agency and fun in these BGs, because I'm telling you, raw dogging it with no PvP power, it's going to be terrible. One thing I recommend you look out for while you're shopping is the small differences between the gear. As you can see here, one is a chest guard and one is a breastplate. If you buy the chest guard, congratulations, you've just brought a healing item. Okay, so really watch those stats. Don't just be like, oh, I'm going for Light Forged and like get scammed because the name looks similar. I always just look at the set effect and make sure that the set effect matches the other thing I've been buying. Another pro to buying this gear is as you do replace it, it's resellable. You can just turn around and put it right back on the auction house. Not saying it's going to sell instantly, but you can get a lot of your money back out of this. You're basically temporary borrowing the item from the auction house and then reselling it so someone else can use it for a little bit to get their PvP gear. But this is definitely, without a question, the route I would recommend taking. Another thing I recommend while shopping is you're like, okay, I want these gloves. Don't just buy those. Shift left click the item and hit search again, and it'll only show you that item specifically. And you can see here it's only listed once, so it's my only option. But sometimes you scroll past the cheaper version of the same item. So just make sure you're not wasting your money. Okay, now I can give you guys a better example of why we just spent gold on this gear. As you can see in the setup I had, you know, just from doing some dungeons and opening some callboard caches at level 60, we're left with 450 PvE power, 0 PvP power, and 0 resilience. So basically what that translates to is if you go into a battleground, you're going to get clapped. However, with the gear we just bought, you'll see that we now have 444 PvP power, which increases your damage dealt to other players by 22%. And we have 146 resilience, which reduces your damage taken by another 10%. I also opted into buying a set bonus. It's kind of okay. I don't think it's going to be that insane or anything. Obviously, we got a huge two-hander, which is great for Ret. Super important for melee classes to, you know, pick up a weapon they need. So obviously the only thing left to do is to activate your Mystic Enchants for PvP and swap to a PvP spec for your class. But the question now is, how do we find a good one? How do we find a good Mystic Enchant loadout, and how do we find a good specialization for whatever class you're playing? And honestly, the only correct answer is Discord. On all of my videos, either in the description or comments, I leave Discord links for all Ascension related Discord channels. And for this video, for the purpose of this video, we'll be using Ascension Warcraft Reborn Classic Plus Discord. Like I said, it'll be linked in the description or comments. And as you can see here in game, I'm actually running a Glad's build. Shout out to Glad. He gave me all the Mystic Enchants I need for a good PvP build as a Paladin. But as you can see here, there's all sorts of forms for all sorts of classes. So let's say you're a Druid. You come here, and then here's a bunch of stuff. You basically just want to scroll through here a little bit. It shouldn't take too long, and here you go, a Resto Druid PvP build right there. You could click on this, and you can read what people say, and you can see the kind of mystic enchants and talents people are running. Or maybe if you're a hunter, you can scroll through here a little bit. Level 60 PvP is a hunter. You know, the newest reply was 11 hours ago. It's got 1,500 replies, dude. These Discords are loaded with information, all sorts of builds. Even if you're a PvE player, it's really worth it to get in here and take a look at what other people are theory crafting build-wise and just expand your knowledge on everything related to your class via these subcategories or subthreads or whatever on the Discord. So I would strongly recommend joining the Discord, taking a look at that stuff, and getting your talents and enchants all in order before you go do Battlegrounds as well, because like I said, the idea is to have fun while you do it. If you go in there butt naked and get slapped up every single time you join a BG, you're going to lose your mind. It's not going to be fun. It's not worth it to do it that way, in my opinion. So this is how I would do it. Also, do not ever forget that after every win, you can turn this quest in, and it'll give you like an extra 2,000 honor, or yeah, I think it is. It's an extra 2,000 honor per win. And then as soon as you turn it in, you pick it back up and queue again. You never want to win a BG without having that quest. You're just losing an extra 2,000 honor every time you do that. So make sure you always have the Call to Arms Battleground quest. And yeah, you should be able to get your set done before you run out of those quest turn-ins. But if you can't get it all before you run out of those quest turn-ins, it's not a huge deal. As long as you maximize how much honor you can get off the call board, it'll really help you speed everything up as far as gearing out in PvP goes. But it's about all I can give you guys for tips, right? I showed you how to get some PvP armor for cheap, or how to look up builds and talents for your class. And yeah, happy battlegrounding.